Welcome to episode 4 of Black is Evil and White is Good. It's another perspective with I, the mystic philosopher. Question 9. To introduce question 9, let me talk a little and share some commentaries and perspectives on and about self-preservation. Self-preservation, also known as the first law of nature. What is meant and understood by the word, the English word, the compound word, or the phrase self-preservation? Do you, my listeners and readers, really know? Do you really know? Do you, my fellow highly enriched melanin brothers and sisters of African ancestry, do you really and truly know what is meant by the word, the phrase, and the ideology called self-preservation? Have you ever really and truly seriously thought about it? Or is it a fact you just don't know? And from time to time, you might just conveniently keep running off your mouths as if you know. From I, the mystic philosopher's perspective, there is no other race of people, be they human beings or humankind, mankind or womankind, that is currently dwelling on this our planet Earth today, that believes, that knows, that seriously understands and practices the art, the science and principles of self-preservation to the nth degree and beyond, like the Caucasian race or the Caucasian group of people. Consciously or unconsciously, everything and anything they think, believe, say or do is based at its core the practice of self-preservation, also known as the first law of nature. And for those of us that don't know, or for those of us that may have forgotten, or for those of us that wishes to know and understand what self-preservation, the first law of nature, means, and what self-preservation is all about, the only people that we can and that we must endeavor to learn from, if at all we are to survive as a race of Africans, as a race of African people, melaninated people, is the Caucasian. Here are a few lines from one of my songs. It is a challenge to those of you who may think that I am wrong. If you don't know and understand the true definition and meaning of self-preservation and how it is and how it has been practiced by Caucasian, then you are a fool and you won't be around for much too long. Well, according to the Merriam-Webster's English Dictionary online, self-preservation is, and I quote, 1. Preservation of oneself from destruction or harm, unquote. From this definition, I, the mystic philosopher, personally interpret and understand that it is only wise and prudent that one should take all the necessary precautions in order to preserve and to protect oneself from any and all possible danger. To preserve and to protect oneself from any and all possible destruction or harm. And 2, self-preservation, and I quote, is a natural or instinctive tendency to act so as to preserve one's own existence. Now please note that even according to this, the Caucasian's system's own English dictionary, self-preservation is defined as a natural or an instinctive tendency to act. Act, or the word act, by definition means to take actions or by doing something, to take action by doing something, to do something. Therefore, if my observations, my experiences and analysis of Caucasians are in any way correct, that the natural, instinctive, or the genetically programmed thing for them to do to preserve their own existence is to take action. Example, if or when they feel threatened, or if or when they perceive something or perceive someone to be a threat, they will, and the evidence has shown that they have taken action to eliminate the threat, or to eliminate that which they in their own minds perceived to be a threat to them. And they even labeled their action or their actions as preemptive, as in preemptive action, preemptive strikes, etc. For to them, it is better to be safe than to be sorry. Now, I will be revisiting this point shortly, so please stay tuned. And at this point, I would like to ask you, all my African people, my highly enriched melanin brothers and sisters, what are you doing to preserve your existence? What are we doing collectively and individually to preserve our existence? Again, please note that from the definition, it did not say that self-preservation, is a natural or an instinctive tendency to stay dormant, to be passive. It did not say self-preservation means to lie down, to throw up your hands in the air, to yield or surrender, to give up on yourself or to give up on your race. It did not say self-preservation means to kneel down, to close your eyes and pray to our enemy's God, our enemy's gods, Lord, Savior, prophets, saints, etc., while hoping and wishing for our enemies and their gods to show you or to show us mercy or to have mercy on you. But it emphatically states that self-preservation is a natural or an instinctive tendency to act so as to preserve one's own existence. Secondly, to preserve one's existence means to act in order to preserve one's own life. Please allow me to explain. to preserve one's own existence by acting in order to preserve one's own life does not mean that you save yourself and yourself alone from, let's say, a disaster, poverty, hunger, destruction, ignorance, etc. And then stand back and watch others that are close to you, your own fellow melanin African brothers and sisters, perish. And to yourself think that is self-preservation, because you have saved your own life, or that you have saved yourself. Not at all. Disaster, for example, not because you may say, you may save yourself from being destroyed in a house fire or in a massive flood, or because you may have swum ashore to safety from a sinking ship, means that it is now okay for you to just stand by, ignore, and watch others of your own brothers and sisters, your family, that may be still in that house, burnt to death or drowned, without even seriously attempting to do something, or to do anything and everything that is within your power and ability to try and save them as well. Poverty, not because you may have saved yourself from the system's well orchestrated and inflicted curse called poverty, by whatever means you may have done so, and under whatever the circumstances you might have been victorious in lifting yourself out, means that you should now just ignore and turn your back on your own people. That you should be showing off, condemning, criticizing, blaming, and scorning your own melanin people. Or that you should be treating your own melanin brothers and sisters of African ancestry with contempt for them not have taken the same steps or the same path that you might have taken in order to achieve your now systems approved success. The success that you may now enjoy. No. Not because you may have lifted yourself out of poverty means that you should be showing off, condemning, criticizing, blaming, or scorning your own melanin people, or that you should be treating your own melanin brothers and sisters of African ancestry with contempt for them not doing the things that you might have done to get out of the system's inflicted poverty, so that you are now inducted into the system's honorary hall of fame and can now earn and enjoy the system's title and respect by being seen and called names such as a rich black man, a rich black woman, a successful black man, a successful black woman, an educated black man, an educated black woman, a professional black man, and a professional black woman. Another word of caution that I would ask that you pay very close attention to, and better yet heed, and that is, you should remember at all times that being a rich black man or woman, a successful black man or woman, an educated black man or woman, and a professional black man or woman is not the same as being a wealthy black man or woman, and very, very far from being a powerful black man or a powerful black woman. They are not synonymous. For your information, the Caucasian system was never founded and established for us melanin people of African ancestry to be wealthy, within or without it, let alone for us to be powerful, to be full or to be filled with power. And anyone that is, or anyone that may try to convince you to the contrary is either one of the following or all of the following. He or she does not know or have a clue of the practical meaning and definition of wealth and power. He or she is completely ignorant of what the first law of Mother Nature, aka, or also known as self-preservation, is or is all about. He or she is already being deceived, hypnotized, brainwashed, and brain-stained to the point of no return by the system. He or she is simply trying to con you, to deceive you, or he or she is plain and simple a dumb fool. In fact, even a dumb fool should, at the very least, have the capacity to know and to understand that any semblance of wealth, let alone semblance of power, that a person that is named, labeled, and called black may exhibit is only that which he or she is granted or have bestowed upon him or her by the Caucasian system and his or her Caucasian masters. For your information, self-preservation, or the preservation of one's existence, is not initiated and cannot be initiated until you change your newly found and adopted Caucasian system's indoctrinated attitude towards your own people, and start doing any and everything that is within your power to help truly liberate them and help get us to where we all belong, and above all, help them reclaim their natural earthly human respect and away from the curse of being called, labeled, and named black. Life, or the thing called life, from the mystic philosopher's perspective, is either terminal or perpetual. Terminal means it ends with you, and perpetual means it carry on with, or it is carried on by others, or it is passed on to others. And our individual lives can either be terminal, which is also known as death, or it can be perpetual, also known as everlasting, and thus the word existence. Therefore, our existence or our lives is determined and will be determined by the actions we take now in order to preserve it or not preserve it.